My YouTube is working. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So now, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to today's YouTube and TikTok live. I'm doing both simultaneously, and I'm doing it because of various reasons. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation is an organization, obviously, of about 52 nations that deem themselves as Islamic, or nations that have predominantly Muslim populations, and Gambia is one of them. Gambia is one of the nations that are part of the OIC. We call it short, Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Why do people text me and call me when I'm doing live programs? Come on, guys, chill. I'm live now on YouTube and TikTok, and I'm going to discuss the hosting of the OIC Summit in the Gambia 2024. Now, this OIC Summit was successfully applied for by the former president of the Gambia, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya AJJ Janneh. He bid for the OIC Summit way back in 2013 and successfully got Gambia in the hat, and Gambia won the bid to have the OIC Summit hosted in the Gambia in 2019. That's when the summit was supposed to take place. All right. And since then, President Janneh set the wheels in motion to host the event successfully. Now, in order to host the event successfully, Gambia had to massively upgrade its infrastructure, including the construction of 2 5-star hotels or more, so that the guests who come to the OIC will have adequate accommodation, because the delegates to the OIC are supposed to be the kings, presidents, prime ministers, and foreign ministers of members of the OIC. That's what it was supposed to be. All right. Now, to do that, Gambia had to upgrade the infrastructure of the republic. And Gambia, unfortunately, under Adama Barrow, was not able to upgrade the infrastructure, was not able to provide accommodation facilities for the dignitaries from the OIC countries, because of one thing and one thing only. One, actually, it's not one thing. There are several reasons why the Republic of the Gambia could not upgrade our infrastructure as expected in time for the summit that we're having this year. The summit actually started today and is going to run until Sunday. And it's called the OIC Summit 2024 in the Gambia. But what we're saying is not a true OIC Summit. What we're saying is a diluted version of what the pomp and ceremony and celebration that was supposed to take place if Gambia did indeed successfully host the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. What we have now is a watered down version, which is a failed version of the OIC Summit. And because of the failure, because of the lack of infrastructure, because of the lack of security, because the lack of every single thing that was supposed to be associated with the OIC Summit, a lot of the Arab kings, many Islamic state presidents and kings have decided not to attend the summit in the Gambia. They've abandoned the conference. All right. So, and now we're looking at it. For people like me, I've always known that this summit was going to be a failure. All right. They might have a summit now, which obviously by Gambian standards, people who do know, or people who don't know better standards than some of us do, they might think what's happening now in the Gambia was the real OIC summit. What's happening now is not actually the real OIC summit. This is the watered down version of the OIC summit. And what we're seeing is probably 10 to 20 times worse than what it actually was supposed to be. And the infrastructure that was erected during this period of 7 years since Barrow came to power I'll come to that in a minute. The cost of hosting this cooperation, the cost of hosting this summit, economically, on infrastructure, and the future of the Gambia in terms of foreign debt is going to be so huge that when you look at the exact infrastructure that was erected, you would be disappointed. Not only will you be disappointed, you'll get to a point where you think, hang on, of all the money that these people counted, that the funds were going into the OIC summit, where did the money go? Where's the infrastructure to prove that they've actually spent $300 million on public infrastructure? An infrastructure that was supposed to make travel, accommodation, security, and all aspects of the summit smooth, fluid, successful. Where are the facilities? Where are the facilities, ladies and gentlemen? I'm asking, because even the single road, main road that was supposed to be built. All right. Let me give you a contrast. The government of Adama Barrow, when they came in, the International Conference Center built by President Janneh was almost complete. All right. It was complete. And look at the quality of the International Conference Center. The quality is almost 90% excellent. Now, they couldn't fence the International Conference Center, which they now call the Sadao Dakairaba Jawara International Conference Center. President Janneh built it. The irony is they don't like President Janneh, but all his magnificent projects that he built, they're renaming after their heroes. But I don't want to belabor that point. I want to go straight to the OIC cooperation. Now, Gambia government, according to them, took several loans. One of them, $93 million from Saudi. The other one is $50 million from Islamic Bank. And they took another $15 million from somewhere. If you put together every single thing that they took or said they took in order to put together one badly constructed highway, which was supposed to be 3 lanes each direction or 4 lanes each direction, and you look at what that road has turned out to be, you will know that Gambia is actually being run by criminals right now. Yes, criminals running the Republic of the Gambia. That's what's going on right now. All right. They took $93 million from Saudi in 2019. They published it. They took another $50 million. They published it. They took another $15 million. So 50 to $15, and they published it. And at one point, they said they needed $300 million to be able to host the OIC Summit 2024 successfully. In the end, according to my calculations and according to sources, they've taken loans of up to about $250 million. And still, the one dual carriageway, which is about 22 kilometers, maybe less, because I doubt that the airport Johnson via Bruceby and via Senegambia, via traffic lights to Sting Corner is 22 kilometers. I doubt it. I don't think it's 22 kilometers. Just the one road, one major road from Airport Johnson to Sting Corner, just one road, Barrow government could not complete in 6 years of trying, with obscene amounts of money spent in trying to build that one road. They couldn't. Barrow government could not build a dual carriageway of only 2 lanes from what was supposed to be 4 lanes going each direction. They could not build that in 6 years. And the road is less than 15 kilometers. At most, let's say for the sake of today's argument, as the Minister of Works stated, let's suppose the Airport Johnson going via Bruceby, heading towards traffic lights via Senegambia to Sting Corner. Let's suppose the road is 22 kilometers. Now, when they're building a road in the Western world, the average calculation of a grade A, I'm not talking about grade C, which Barrow government just built. I'm talking about a grade A road, like a motorway in the United Kingdom or a dual carriageway in the United Kingdom. they calculated at $1 million per kilometer. $1 million per kilometer. That's how they calculate an approximate amount of money it would cost to build an A-grade road. I'm not talking about B road. I'm not talking about C road. I'm not talking about a road where you just spread gravel and put tar on it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an A-grade road, which was supposed to be constructed by 2018, completed by June 2019, in time for the OIC summit in November of 2019. And this would have been achieved 100% if President Janneh was still president of the Republic of the Gambia in 2019, because that was his projection. What he wanted was, as soon as the elections of 2016 were concluded, construction works were going to commence immediately. And all roads and 2 5-star hotels would have been completed by June, July 2019. And preparations for the OIC Summit 2019 in November 2019 would have taken place between July and October 2019. What we're seeing in Gambia now would have been multiplied by tenfold in terms of quality, in terms of patriotism, in terms of jobs going to the Gambian population, in terms of Gambian public and Gambian businesses and individuals benefiting from this huge project called the Organization of Islamic Conference. What Barrow and his gangsters did instead is take loans upon loans. They took so much from foreign banks. They spent so much time trying to deceive the Gambian population as to what was going to be done when the summit comes across. When the summit comes. And for your information, they've postponed this summit about 4 or 5 times, to a point where it's no longer a genuine summit of the Islamic cooperation. It's not because just today we saw so many presidents and prime ministers of Islamic states saying that they cannot come to the Gambia for this summit. Several years ago, President Janneh hosted the AU summit. 52 African heads of states, heads of government, came to the Gambia. The jobs went to Gambian people: security jobs, construction jobs, catering jobs, chauffeuring jobs with cars, motorbikes. Every single thing was done by the Gambian population 100%. All the funds that were allocated to the Gambia to be able to host a successful African Union summit in the Gambia in the year 2006 was successfully done without a hitch. President Janneh made sure all construction work, all catering jobs, medical jobs, transport jobs, every single thing associated with the African Union summit was done by Gambians, 100% by Gambians. And there's still a legacy of the African Union Summit with African Union Villas, the dual carriageway from West Coast, from Westfield all the way to Airport Johnson. You have other public infrastructure upgrade, water supply, electricity supply, internet upgrade. Every single thing that was supposed to be done in Gambia's power was done in 2006 by President Janneh and his government. The opposite is President Janneh hosted 52 African heads of government, presidents. No problems. It ran smoothly. Gambians benefited from it enormously. It created a massive economic and infrastructural upgrade on the poor little Gambia. Now, Adam Barrow comes to power. He is in power right now, and he has been trying to host this summit since 2019. It failed in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. 6 years later, in 2024, the summit is beginning to come to life. But what we've seen now is a summit that's been run and is limping. What was supposed to be a full 2-legged race for the Republic of the Gambia, a massive benefit to the Gambian population, the Gambian citizens. Every single Gambian that has something to offer in terms of construction, catering, transport, every single tiny bit of detail that was supposed to be involved in the OIC summit, Gambians were supposed to benefit from it. However, the government of Adama Barrow took what was supposed to be a full Gambian win. They took what was supposed to be a full Gambian win and handed it to Senegal, to Mauritania, to anyone who cared to lend them material to be able to run this OIC summit. Every single thing they borrowed, the government of Adama. So after spending $250 million, the Gambia government still couldn't have enough vehicles for just maybe 40, 48 delegates of the OIC summit. Maybe you have other people who came with members of their entourage. So you would say about maybe 200, 300 vehicles. All right. But the other vehicles don't have to look like what the presidents are supposed to travel in. So if the president of Senegal came and he had a delegation of ministers of about 10, you give the president the super duper machinery, motor, metal piece to ride in. Then the other delegates will drive in lesser grades of motorcade, like vehicles. Obviously, they'll be good quality, but not the same as the one that the president will be in. We already had VIP transport in the Gambia. We already had loads of motorbikes in the Gambia that President Janneh left behind for purposes of events like this, escorts, driving foreign dignitaries, foreign delegates, presidents, heads of states, VIPs. President Janneh left them behind in abundance. But Barrow government and his people came. Instead of thinking about the government's resources, the taxpayers' resources, they decided to auction off, share these materials, steal them, gift them to people, knowing fully well that those materials belong to the Gambian taxpayers. President Janneh's limousines that he bought for the AU summit, and after that, the motorbikes that he bought and the vehicles, brand spanking new vehicles that were parked at State House and his house in Kanilai, were all sold, stolen, distributed in a manner that nobody knows. Well, people know, but they will not make it public. Fast forward to 2024. The government of the Gambia under Adama Barrow, due to incompetence, due to corruption, had to borrow vehicles from Mauritania. They had to borrow vehicles from Senegal. They had to borrow vehicles from motorbikes from Senegal. They had to borrow security guards from Senegal. They had to borrow Senegalese airports for foreign dignitaries who are attending the OIC summit to be able to park their aircraft. Not only are they parking their aircraft in Senegal, they're not even spending the night in Gambia. That's the sad part of it, brothers and sisters. Most of a good number of the OIC summit delegates will not be spending the night in the Gambia. They will fly in the morning, go to the summit at Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center, which is built by President Janneh. Just about the only thing that was properly done for the OIC summit is the conference center. And I'll tell you what, I bet if this conference center was not built under President Janneh, it wouldn't have been finished by now for the OIC summit. That's a guarantee. If the construction of the OIC International Conference Center in the Gambia, if it didn't start under President Janneh and didn't almost finish the main structure under President Janneh, it wouldn't be ready by now. There wouldn't have been any conference center. They might have gone to Kairaba Hall or Senegambia or Penchami Hall or somewhere. Or the summit might have been taken and handed to Pakistan or Senegal or some other country. The presidents, prime ministers, kings from these Islamic countries would have converged in the Gambia with so much pomp and ceremony if His Excellency, say Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya AJJ Jammeh was still the president of the Republic of the Gambia. You would have seen something on Gambian soil that you never saw before. Because President Jammeh operates in a different realm to Adama Barrow. They're two different people. They've got totally different charisma, authority, command, the love of the people inside and outside of the Gambia. But now, Adama Barrow, they borrowed vehicles from Senegal, motorbikes from Senegal, security from Senegal, airports from Senegal. Most of the stuff that you're seeing today that the delegates at the OIC are enjoying are not from the Gambia. Gambian businesses lost out. We missed a big opportunity, massive opportunity. We've gave up something that was supposed to dramatically transform our landscape. And indeed, I saw the plans of the roads that were supposed to be constructed by President Janneh. It would have been total polar opposite to what we see now. Look at that dual carriageway. They still haven't finished it. And when the OIC summit is finished, most of these projects that haven't been completed up to today, they will never be completed again. Because there's, the OIC diluted, the failed version of OIC summit has come and gone. What's the motivation in completing these projects now? There'll be no motivation to complete them. They'll take the money, the remaining funds, they'll take and share them between themselves. They're not going to complete those projects. They were supposed to build that Battle Harding Highway from Airport Johnson via Bruce B roundabout, via Senegambia, via traffic lights to Sting Corner. That's what the project was supposed to be. But they didn't. The road is not even complete. The road is dusty, full of sand, full of grit. They haven't even paved the gap between the roads and the houses that flank the road on both sides. They didn't pave the road properly. They didn't clean the road properly before the summit. The road is dusty with red gravel. You look at the photos. The lights they used, the lights they installed on those roads are poor quality solar lights, LED by the looks of it, but they're poor quality. They're going to break down all the time, and they're not bright enough for a road of that magnitude. I can tell you this. Most of you in the Gambia have never traveled anywhere. You'll find it difficult to understand some of my frustrations because you haven't seen better. I can understand that. That's why sometimes when Gambians argue with me on social media, I understand their frustrations because they haven't seen anything better. But for people like me, I've seen state-of-the-art infrastructure. And I know $1 million US dollars. I'm not talking about any other dollars. When I mention dollars in my life programs, I'm talking about US dollars. 1 million US dollar will build you a kilometer of the road, state of the art, motorway quality, high quality dual carriageway that will last 50 years guaranteed. $1 million is how they calculate it. $1 million per kilometer. So if Adama Barrow's government took $250 million since 2018, $250 million since 2018, if they spent that much on the OIC summit, not just the roads, they took some loans in 2018, took some loans in 2019, took some loans in 2022, 2023, to the point where we are now, and the road is still not good. It's still of a very poor quality. The jobs have not gone to the Gambians, they've gone to Mauritania and they've gone to Senegal. All those vehicles, 100 vehicles they borrowed from Mauritania, the 100 buses they borrowed from Senegal, Senegalese people have to drive them. They're getting paid probably in dollars per day for the summit. They're not going to pay the Senegalese in CFA because when Senegal is dealing with Gambia in recent times, they charge the Gambia government in dollars. We're paying Senelec, the electricity company of Senegal, in dollars. We're paying Sonatel, the Senegalese telecommunications company, in dollars. We're paying the illegal contingent of Senegalese army in the Gambia in dollars, just like UN peacekeepers. Every single thing we're doing now between Gambia and Senegal, we're not paying them in the CFA, which is highly inflated. We're paying them in US dollars. You tell me if there aren't 1,000 Gambian drivers who could have been earning maybe $1,000, $2,000 a day on the summit, or maybe even $5,000 a day. It's better than paying a Senegalese guy $300 a day, or paying a Mauritanian guy. Look, I'm a Pan-African, okay? If we outsource it, we outsource stuff that we cannot locally produce. No problems. As I said before, I don't mind Senegalese people eating our fish from the River Gambia and the Atlantic Ocean. What annoys me is we're taking that fish. Senegal is taking the fish from us. Instead of feeding their population, they're giving our fish to France, the EU, and the Chinese. That's what frustrates me. Not because Senegalese people are eating our fish, not because we're giving Senegalese people jobs, but as they say, charity always begins at home. So before you take our 100 jobs and give it to Mauritania, give 500 jobs to the Senegalese just because of an OIC summit. You have 1,500 illegal Senegalese soldiers stationed in the Gambia, probably being paid $1,000 a month when you have your own Gambia armed forces. We have our own Gambia armed forces. Why are you paying Senegalese army that's in the Gambia? That's not part of a COMOC. That's a Senegalese section of the army that's not part of the COMOC. The rumor is they're about 1,500. They are the ones predominantly stationed in Fonyi, and they're wearing the fake economic badge. When they were killed in the Gambia in 2021, or 2022 actually, January 2022, their comic said it wasn't their soldiers, it was Senegalese soldiers, but they had their economic patches on their shoulders. Those soldiers are rumored to be paid in dollars, US dollars a month, about $1,000, just because Barrow is afraid of his own Gambia armed forces. And you know what the painful part of this is? Now, this summit is going to come and go. Within 3 days, it'll be done, dusted. Saturday, and it's complete. Sunday, latest. We will have massive debt to deal with. Already, I said this before when I was here live. Under President Jawara and President Janneh, after 52 years, we were accruing debt at a rate of $1 billion per year. Approximately $1 billion per year of debt we were accruing. But after President Jammeh's departure, Adama Barrow came. At the current rate, we're accruing debt of about $11 billion per year. Now, as I said before, ordinarily, that wouldn't be bad if we had infrastructure and socioeconomic development to show for it. Instead, what we've seen under Adama Barrow is totally economic collapse. The price of everything has tripled. Yes, I know there are price increases globally. I understand that. I'm not stupid. I don't hate Adama Barrow. I have to be fair to him where there have been increase of prices in other areas. But what we've seen under Adama Barrow is rampant corruption. Corruption at a level that we've never before seen. It's stratospheric. It's absolutely obscene. They're doing it because obviously there's nobody to reprimand them. Under President Jammeh, if you were corrupt, you pay the price for it. Under Adama Barrow, you can be corrupt. You can be blatantly, openly corrupt and openly stand up before the public and say, oh, $148 million is gone missing from my department. And you'll still be serving as a Minister of Health. Yeah, who's going to sack him? Because I know for a fact that Minister of Health alone didn't take that $148 million. He must have given the people above him their share of the loot. That's how they play, ladies and gentlemen. That's how they do it. That's why the Minister of Health, despite the fact that 4 of our sisters died in labor while being operated because there's power cut in the hospital, they will be operating you in the Republic of the Gambia in a hospital, and there'll be power loss at the hospital. Something that never used to happen because the hospital, the main referral hospital in the Gambia, was connected to the state house of the Republic of the Gambia, where President Jammeh used to live and work. So therefore, if electricity supply was cut, the standby generator of the state house where President Jammeh used to work and live will kick in. And he will know straight away, oh, my generator is kicked in, we had a power cut. So therefore, it's guaranteed that the hospital is also getting power supply. That's how a statesman acts. That's how a lover of his people acts. That's how President Janneh administered his government from day one until the day he left office. And since the day he walked out of State House and Adama Barrow replaced him at State House of the Gambia, it's been free fall. We have been going from bad to worse to worst. Now, the OIC summit has failed. Clearly, because none of those roads, 20 roads, we were supposed to have a state-of-the-art dual carriageway from the airport via Senegambia to Sting Corner. We were supposed to have 20 arterial roads, connecting roads to that main carriageway. Those roads have not been built, and the couple that have been started have been done as if we still live in the 1950s, 1970s. Adama Barrow's government can't buy or maintain ferries. They can't maintain buses. They can't maintain roads. They can't build them. The only road that is 100% Adama Barrow's, Hakalan Road, is broken before it's even complete. That's the situation we found ourselves in. This is the government that's administering Ghana. Adama Barrow himself, I knew from the beginning. I listened to Barrow's interviews twice, and I concluded that this gentleman had no scope for improvement. He's never going to improve. It's going to get worse. It's going to go from bad to worse. I said this from the beginning in 2017. And on the 26th of January 2017, I wrote that Adama Barrow and his cronies swearing in Senegal was a betrayal of the Gambian population. And that the coward was never going to succeed. Because if you're going to be a head of state and you flee the country and leave your supporters, like Adama Barrow did, because of unsubstantiated fear that President Janneh was going to kill him, was going to assassinate him. That was no threat to Adama Barrow's life. But the coward fled and went to Mali, from Mali to Senegal, and he got sworn in Senegal. I said what they did was a betrayal of their voters, a betrayal of the Gambian population. It was a travesty to democracy. You can't just go to another country and get sworn in as head of state of another country. And he was not going to succeed. I wrote this post on the 26th, and I said, Senegal, for giving him that refuge that he didn't have to have, will exploit Adama Barrow's government. For his entire reign, Senegalese governments will exploit him. I said this on the 26th. If you want to see the post, I can share it again. On the 26th of January 2017, I wrote that Senegal is going to exploit Adama Barrow throughout his reign, because he's created that atmosphere where Senegal thought, oh, you're in danger, run over, come over to Senegal and hide here. We'll provide everything for you. During that period, Senegal got him to sign his soul, to sign his life away. That's where we are. The OIC summit is like Senegal is making more money from the OIC summit than the Republic of the Gambia themselves. More Senegalese got employed to run projects for the summit than the Gambians themselves. And after the summit, it'll be Gambia and Gambia alone that will have to deal with the debt level. $111 billion is foreign debt. For 52 years, we had only $48 billion is foreign debt. Now we have $111 billion is foreign debt. The dollar is falling. It's on a free fall. Inflation is sky high. Price of commodities, sky high. Hospitals, no blood bags, no surgical gloves, no medicine, nothing, no water, no electricity. People's brothers and sisters, especially our sisters in labor, are dying like this government doesn't care. But this is the same government that took 40 million from taxpayers' purse to give it to their friends in media. Yet, just last few days, 4 women have died in labor as they were being operated and the electricity cut off. No standby generator in our hospitals. No standby water supply in our hospitals. Nothing is working under Adama Barrow. But you guys think Barrow is doing a good job by looking at that dead dual carriage road that he built? That should have been 10, 20 times better than what it is right now. There were 20 other roads that were supposed to connect it to ease traffic congestion, to improve security in the Gambia, to ease people's travel woes in the Republic of the Gambia. None of it has materialized. And after the summit, there will be no motivation to complete these projects. All we have to do is pay back that debt to Saudi Arabia, to the Islamic Bank, to the World Bank, to the African Development Bank, you name it. Adama Barrow's government is taking loans from every single place. We will carry the heavy yoke of debt for a very long time, our generations to come, because Barrow doesn't care. He won't be there. The people around him who have suddenly become billionaires by Gambian standards from taxpayers' money, they won't care. They will not be there. This is the situation we found ourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. The OIC summit, by all accounts, is a total failure. By now, Gambia would have been absolutely serenaded, pumped. It would have been magnificent seeing all the kings and heads of states, presidents, prime ministers converge on that tiny little country. They would have swamped our economy to a point where even the average corner shop will be making thousands and thousands of dollars by providing fresh food, fresh produce, other commodities that were supposed to be used in the catering industry, in the transport industry, in the construction industry, accommodation, and every single thing, you name it. As it happened during the AU summit, what we have now is a watered down version of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, a failed version of it. That's what we're looking at now. But if you've never seen better, you will never know. If you've never seen better quality, you will always be at conflict with what Lamin Tamba says, what Lamin Tamba writes, because you haven't seen better. You don't know better. All right? So you will not know, because if I say to you that that road that they built, 50 million, they asked the current Minister of Works, Usman Silla. He said, Usman Silla, yeah. They asked him, $50 million that you spent on these roads, where did you spend it? Because we can't see where that 50 million went with that dead and dusty and rusty dual carriage road. We couldn't see it. That's not a $50 million road. Where's the $50 million? He said he doesn't know how much it costs to construct that dual carriageway. And he doesn't know how much it costs to construct one or two other roads that connect to it. How can you be the works minister and you don't know the approximate cost of the roads that have been built already? Even if they're not complete, you should be able to tell us as Minister of Works that, okay, so far we've spent $21 million on this dead, drab road. So far we spent $10 million on we saw that the market in Sare something in North Bank region. Yeah, the Nyominkas, what's wrong with you guys? The chairman of North Bank region, who is an NPP, Adama Barrow's man, went and built that dead market in one village in Kerawan, I think, in North Bank region. Went and built that dead market and called it a $1.3 million market. You saw it on my wall, right? On Facebook. You go and have a look. He built that dead market and said it cost $1.3 million. That's what they're doing to you. That dead dual carriageway, that should have been built for nothing more than $500,000, has eaten up 50 million US dollars. Has eaten it up? Where did the money go, ladies and gentlemen? Where are these people putting the taxpayers' money? The day of reckoning will come. But you look at the guest list of the OIC now. I don't have to tell you. Go and have a look at the guests that are arriving right now at the OIC summit. Yeah? In my Trump signature. Like tiny. You go and have a look. Like Donald Trump. Tiny. Look at the guest list. A lot of the Arab kings, Arab presidents, they will not come because Gambia is not safe. Has not been safe since President Janneh left because Adama Barrow neglected our Gambia armed forces. They're no longer keeping the peace. Adama Barrow neglected our Gambia police force. He turned the Gambia police force into an NPP police force, political force actually. Gambia police force today revels in beating up political party opponents and tear gassing them, even when they're going to a fundraising event. That's what they do. They cannot fight crime. They free up criminals and then advertise again for the public to help them apprehend the same criminals they freed. That's what Gambia Police Force is doing. Gambia Armed Forces are nothing but watchmen for their barracks where they work. All right? This guy has taken us back to the 1950s. People have to piggyback, climb on each other's backs to cross the River Gambia now. People have to cross in those dangerous canoes across the mouth of River Gambia now. They can't maintain ferries, no electricity, no water supply. Apparently yesterday, despite the OIC summit, there's a massive blackout in the downtown areas of the Gambia. Even though there's an OIC summit, you got delegates from other countries, you still have him blackouts, spoiling our name, tarnishing the image of the Republic of the Gambia. The day of reckoning will come. I don't know where the $250 million, $300 million has been spent. But once this OIC summit comes to a close, these people will have no motivation to complete these projects. They have failed woefully. And they don't care because there'll be no repercussions. Barrow is not going to take any action because for all the amount that they siphon, any money that they swindle, any loot they get, I'm sure they're giving a cut to his NPP supremos. That's how it works. Give me my cut and you'll be fine. I'm not going to sack you. All the commissions that Barrow has set to investigate have come to no fruition. They've all failed. No commission was successful. That's because he set the hyenas to go and investigate goats. What are you going to get out of it? Gam Petroleum got away with it. GNPC got away with it. NAWEC got away with it. GRA got away with it. Gambia Port Authority got away with it. Fisheries got away with it. Every single department that was caught with their pants down got away with it because Adama Barrow will not take any action. Gambia Ferry Services, $32 million is gone to waste because they bought the wrong engines to the ferry. And because they bought it in a corrupt way, they can't return it to the seller. Now they're thinking of spending another $143 million to buy new ferries. Brothers, you guys keep arguing with Lamin Tamba, all right? Keep arguing with me. And you think I hate, no, I don't hate Barrow. I don't hate anybody. I don't have that bone of hate in me. I dislike what people do. I hate what people do or say. I don't hate individuals. So therefore, since 2017, when I started my activism, I've not lied to anyone. You cannot prove anything I wrote or said to be false because I don't have no motivation to tarnish anyone's image. I don't go personal with people. I concentrate on public affairs, public infrastructure, public office, everything public individuals. I've got no time for people's private lives. Everything I said or wrote about the government of Adama Barrow is factual. You don't see it, give it a few weeks, give it a few months, give it a few years, and you'll see it. 3-4 weeks ago, I said in Voice of Lamin Tamba WhatsApp chat groups, Voice of Lamin Tamba 1, Vault 1, and Voice of Lamin Tamba 2, Vault 2, that this OIC summit will only be attended by some village development committee members. There'll be no high dignitary as expected if President Janneh was still the president of the Gambia. The delegate list will be diluted to maybe foreign ministers or permanent secretaries of foreign governments. You will not see kings and presidents flocking to the Gambia as they would have done in 2019 if President Janneh was still the president of the Gambia. This is a diluted, watered down version of it. This is a poor man's OIC summit. This is a backyard OIC summit. It's not a true one. But for some people, they have lifted off this summit. They were the OIC secretariat. They made loads of money. They were paying them $5,000 a month, Gambian taxpayers' money, a month, just to be in the OIC secretariat to administer the implementation of this failed OIC summit. They were getting paid 5,000 Gambian citizens on Gambian soil, taking government's money, taxpayers' money, rewarding themselves with $5,000 a month salaries. Until that caused a scandal, many of them resigned and left the OIC secretariat. 93 million came, disappeared. 50 million came, disappeared. 14 million came, disappeared. 20 million came, disappeared. The taxpayer will have to pick up the tab. No doubt. That tab will not be picked up by Lamin Tamba alone. You keep arguing with me. You keep calling me a liar as they often do. They know I don't lie. They know. They know I don't lie. But in 2017, they called me a liar when I started exposing the government's inadequacies. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Depending on which side they've flip-flopped from, which side they changed over the last few years, they became my enemies, then my friends, then became enemies again, then became friends again. During that period, I remained as cast iron, strong as steel. I didn't move. People were changing sides. I remained consistent. When they change sides to go and pursue their personal interests, then they attack me. Then they realize after they fall out of favor with their personal interests, then they say, oh, Lamin Tamba is right. Then they move to another place, Lamin Tamba is bad. I remained constant, remained resolute. I have no personal interest in Gambia government's positions. I have no personal interest in terms of trying to enrich myself. My interest is I want to see Gambia look like a probable nation, a rapidly developing nation. I've seen better. I've been to places. I've been probably some of the best places in this world. Not showing off. No, I'm not showing off. I'm just telling you, I've seen so much better quality, and I want Gambia to go down that direction. But when I tell Gambian people, you're being shortchanged, you're being defrauded, they don't get it because some of them have never been here and there, and they think that little half bag of rice they're getting or that little bucket of onions they're getting from Barrow and NPP was a big thing. Or that 1.3 million market in North Bank region was a big thing. Yeah? Or that dead dual carriageway. Oh, it's a big thing. Yes, I might have thought the same way if I was still in the Gambia and never traveled anywhere better. But I've seen better. I know better. And I know it can be done better. And I know it can be improved. And I know the people who are doing it can do it better, but they don't want to do it better because these people are busy deceiving you guys, lying to you guys so that they can use those funds for personal gain. And if we don't change, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't look at our nation first and improve our infrastructure, socioeconomic development, you watch the next 1 to 2 years how this debt is going to spiral out of control, and it will have a negative impact on our economy. I'm hoping we will avert it, we'll avoid economic destruction. But I'm afraid, as many things I've said before since 2017, I only see a deep, dark abyss. I only see Gambia absolutely tumbling into that deep, dark pit. And it's going to take somebody with academic acumen, loads of experience to dig us out of that hole. That wouldn't be Adama Barrow. It wouldn't be any of the people surrounding him now. It's going to take a strong fella or lady or man, very strong, very well informed, a no-nonsense person, very upright, patriotic, God-fearing, to be able to lift us out of that deep, dark pit. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I will bring today's a close. I'll bring to a close this TikTok live and YouTube live. Please repost my videos on TikTok. Please follow my channel on YouTube. It's called Lamin Tamba Bantaba Kacha on YouTube channels, or you can find it on my wall on Facebook. Follow them. I'm just here. As I said before, I joined activism not to look for love, not to say what pleases people. I joined it to be able to inform people, speak the truth, and stand up for nothing but the absolute truth. Thank you very much. I'll come back again. In the meantime, enjoy the diluted, failed OIC Summit in the Gambia 2024. Thank you very much.